This talk is sponsored by Polygon. Polygon is the leading platform for Ethereum scaling and infrastructure development. Its growing suite of products enables developers to build scalable, user-friendly dApps with low transaction fees without ever sacrificing on security. Learn more at polygon.technology.
All right, what's up, Web3Con, Developer DAO, anyone else who's watching this in the future on the internet, anywhere. Super excited to be here today to talk about how to build and scale your blockchain applications using Alchemy. So real quick introduction, I'm Albert. I go by That Guy in Tech on all social media, the metaverse, ENS domain, whatever. If you look it up, it's probably me. I worked at a couple of different SaaS companies as a software engineer before joining Alchemy and Web3 full-time. So companies like Salesforce, Magoosh, and Samsara. As you can tell, I love building tools and helping make sure that developers and end users have a great time using whatever the service is. And so before I went full-time into developer advocacy, I had worked on an NFT project with my girlfriend and a couple of friends. We built the Chibi Shinobis project. And for people who don't know, Chibi Shinobi stands for cute ninjas. It means cute ninjas in Japanese. And this was inspired by Naruto, one of the most famous, popular Japanese animes in the world. And so I had written the smart contract side. I had worked on NFT art generation with my girlfriend, who's the artist, and a couple of different other artists that we brought on board. And we created this project, and I thought it was amazing just to see like this entire flow. And it seems cute. It seems like, oh, cool, like whatever. Collectible NFTs. We've been there, done that for a while now, but it really opened my eyes to this entire process. Anyways, in my free time, whenever I do have free time, which is rare now, I do like to do some raps as well. So if you're interested in this rap, I'm not going to show it here. Go to my Twitter profile. It's a pinned video, and you can watch it there. But this actually kind of kickstarted my whole career. It tells the story of how I got into crypto and how I ultimately ended up where I am today. Awesome. So now my role is a developer advocate at Alchemy, and my job is to empower developers to build on the blockchain. I love learning and then sharing my learnings and enabling others to build. So super excited to be here. Now, real quick, a quick overview of Alchemy as a company. Our whole mission is to empower builders to bring the magic of blockchain to the entire world. And the way we think about doing that is we think about how do we make blockchain as a technology grow and mature. And we do this by going through this product lifecycle, where ultimately we want users to benefit from this technology, whether it's a new financial system, new digital assets and ownership and identity, all this stuff. We want people to benefit from that. But in order for that to happen, we have to have really good products. And in order for really good products to be made, we need developers who can piece together all the bits and like the low-level technologies and the new information that are coming into the space to build those products. But when that happens, we create this virtuous cycle where developers are making good products are incentivizing new users to join, and the more users there are, the more developers want to build and can afford to build and all this stuff. So the pain point, though, is that it can be difficult to build products and new technologies because, think about running your own node, think about like developing things when there are no libraries or SDKs or APIs, and you have to kind of do everything bit by bit. It's like pretty hard. And so that's where Alchemy's focus is. We want to shorten that gap so that we can increase this velocity of the cycle and then bring blockchain to as many people as possible. So we've been doing pretty well so far. It's, whatever we've been doing has been working. We power a majority of the top applications in the space, whether it's Web3 companies or, Web 2.5 companies that are bridging the gap. We also power a majority of all NFT platforms. So, OpenSea, Maker's Place, Super Rare, Axie Infinity, blah, blah, blah. And the question is, how do we actually do this? We actually have a whole suite of tools. We're not just an inferior alternative. We have a whole bunch of things that are going on that I'm going to walk you through. So what tools does Alchemy provide? We have the first thing that you know and love is Supernode. It's basically the connection to the blockchain. So anytime you want to read or write data to the blockchain, you're probably going to be using our Supernode product. Basically what we've been able to do, and that's being depicted in this complex diagram here, all you really need to remember is that we've figured out how to run a bunch of nodes and create this engine that solves the problem of reliability, scalability, and data consistency. So that whenever you want to read and write information to the blockchain, to and from the blockchain, we'll get it to you ASAP. And a lot of people talk about decentralization and, oh, wow, you created this thing, but now everybody depends on it. You can use another service provider. You can run your own nodes, but we've just figured out a way to make sure that information can scale as you're building websites and applications and deploying your smart contracts, and is data consistent so that you don't have like all these uncled blocks and dropped, reorgs and stuff like that going on that affect your development workflow. And so this is the bread and butter. We'll see this later in code demo. The other things that we have though are nice dashboards. So we have our build product where you can search historical requests, requests, you can see requests per second, you can see success rate, you can visualize your mempool, a bunch of these like dashboard features, which are super nice. And then if you're more on the business and analytics side, or like you're in that mood to optimize those things, we track these performance and user insights for you. So you can actually know where your requests are coming from, whether it's, the United States or some other country in the world. And then also within, the countries, which area is it coming from? So that way you can maybe optimize your product or optimize your latencies or whatever it is. And we'll give you usage analytics, application health alerts, and a lot more. And then Notify is another really important product. With Notify, something that's really cool is that we can actually push information from the blockchain to you, to your servers via webhooks. And this is actually something that's pretty hard to do with blockchain, because as data is coming in, if you wanted to track, a certain transfer, a certain sale, a token swap, whatever it is, you normally would have to pull the blockchain and keep asking, hey, is that information up to date? Did anything happen yet? Did anything happen yet? And then like index those events and then maybe serve it on your website or your application. But we already do that. So we can, like just let you know, hey, your user who's tried to swap a token, their transaction completed, so you should let them know. So, we track things like transaction status, address updates, and gas price changes, and I'll show you the interface for this later as well. So, and then we have enhanced APIs, and these are super crucial to most people, especially for, maybe like a hackathon, or you're trying to like build stuff really fast. We have these higher level abstractions called enhanced APIs that can, let you query for things like transaction history, token information, connect to WebSockets, things like this. And our NFT API that we just launched falls under this kind of category of enhanced APIs, where, you don't have to filter through all these events and figure out NFT stuff for yourself. We've actually done that for you, and you can just query, which address owns which NFTs and things like that. And then finally, this is not like a technical product, but this is equally as important, especially in the crypto space where you're trying to build community, you're trying to market. When you are ready to launch your project, Alchemy Amplify is there for you. You can offload your go-to-market strategy or a portion of it to us. You can add the certified infrastructure alliance badge to your website to give it more legitimacy. And then we can spotlight your project in our newsletter, on our social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever it is that you want to spotlight it. We have a big audience there, so we can help you with that. Awesome. So that's enough overview of these products. Let's actually see these tools in action. I kind of want to show you, what a workflow is like from an indie developer perspective when I'm creating a new project, and then eventually how do I use enhanced APIs and Amplify and stuff like that to bolster it. So let's see these tools in action. What we're going to do, and this looks super shabby on the slide, but I've basically forked projects like Loot and Developer DAO. Shout out to Nader for who created Developer DAO and made content about this type of code. But we're gonna make a generative NFT collection, and I'll show you how Alchemy plugs into this developer workflow through the entire project. We're gonna develop a smart contract to deploy this NFT, and it's gonna be a collection of 8,888 of these randomly generated word lists that describe you as a Web3 hacker. And then we're also gonna build a really, really basic front-end website that helps you mint that NFT and visualize those NFT using Alchemy's enhanced APIs and NFT API. So, and just to show you, if you're not familiar, the Developer DAO tokens collection on OpenSea is right now it's about 8,000 items, just under. And this is what they look like, a list of words, and people have been trading them. And this gives you access to the Developer DAO Discord. And so, maybe we can do something like that, or we can partner with Developer DAO. And then we have Loot. This is the OG project by D. Hoff. He created Loot for Adventures. And the whole idea with this is like, hey, let's make a bottoms up NFT project, right? Where it's not art, it's not an art collection. It's actually something that the community can build on top of and make, apps and visualizations and battles and all this other stuff. So it's a fun idea. So that's what we're going to build today. Now let's exit out of this and I will actually show you. So the first thing is, if you want to follow along, there's actually code for the smart contract in this repo. So it's thatguyintech/hackers-nft, github.com/thatguyintech/hackers-nft. And the front end website is hackers-nft dApp. Okay. So we have two separate repos here. Now in this first repo for hackers NFT, what I want to highlight here is, let's go in here. We have obviously the contract. This is the first thing that's really important. It's the contract that we're going to be working with it's called Hacker, and it's an implementation of the ER721 standard. So it's called Web3 Hackers. The token is called Hacker. There's going to be 8,888 of them. And then I've created these, word lists that describe like, what's your hacker type? And there's all these different types, like full stack developer, backend architect, front end genius, block engineer, blah, blah, you get the idea. And then there's also these moods. So what mood are you in usually while you're hacking? And then here are some chains that you like to hack on. And then what's your Myers-Briggs? This was totally random, but I thought it was fun because I like Myers-Briggs things. And then there's all these other word lists. So if you want to look at this, go to the repo. But this is the contract. So this is the contract file. And the important thing is, where does Alchemy come in? We have this hard hat configuration. Right now in this project, I'm using hard hat and ethers, but you could be using Python, you could be using some other SDK, some other development environment. And the key thing here is that Alchemy for Supernode, when you're communicating with the blockchain, all it is this URL endpoint. And right now, for good practice, I'm putting it in my end file. And normally you don't want to show this end file to people, but for the purpose of demo, I can show you this. It's like fake information. But I've set up, an Alchemy Rinkeby URL with an API key, and then an Alchemy Ropsten testnet URL with an API key, and then a mainnet one with an API key. And then I have my, private keys, but these are fake. And then in the hard hat config, you can see I'm actually loading the Rinkeby URL, the Rinkeby private key, the Ropsten URL, Ropsten private key, mainnet URL, mainnet private key. And so when I want to actually deploy to a testnet or deploy to a mainnet, it's as simple as running this script. So I actually already have some of these loaded here, but you can see here, this is like Rinkeby. So npx hard hat run, I have a deploy script, which I can show you. It's this script right here. Super simple. It comes out of the box with hard hat. Depending on what like developer environment you have, it'll probably be different, but we're just getting the contract factory, we're deploying it, we're waiting for this deploy transaction to finish, and then we log the address that comes out. So I've already run through these, but this is what the script looks like. And so when you call this command, for example, with the Rinkeby network flag, it will access the Alchemy Rinkeby URL. And then after you do this deployment, I can show you on our dashboard. I have a bunch of apps. These are all the apps that I've been developing with, but I have one for the Web3 hackers smart contract, but on Ropsten. So if we click into this dashboard for this application, you can see I have a lot of requests here because I was doing a lot of test deployments and mints and all this other stuff. But the beauty of having this dashboard is that you can see all the requests that are coming through. You can see how many requests are actually succeeding or failing because we have these different tabs as well. So out of all the requests in the past 24 hours, there was 0.1% that were invalid. And you can see there was one, it was actually get NFTs API call to Alchemy. But you can see at a glance, like the most recent requests, you can see the rate of requests or the number of requests over time. And then here's the monitor dashboard where you can see, since it's just me querying it and I'm in California, all of the requests are coming from California. So that's what's happening here. And then I can deploy it, I can interact with it on the testnet, and you also get this nice mempool overview. So right now this is all apps, but if I wanted to filter down to just my Web3 hackers Ropsten testnet one, you can see these are all the transactions that were successfully mined and everything in one view in the memory mempool watcher. So let's say I'm ready to deploy to mainnet. It's as simple as going over here. Let's clear this. Or I'll just look up the command because I've already done it once. I don't want to do it again. It's just switching a flag if I'm using something like hard hat. And then what's going on under the config is I'm just using a different Alchemy API URL endpoint, which I've stored here, ethmainnet.alchemy.apio. And you can see in our dashboard, this is where I actually pulled from. I should have showed you this earlier. And we go to apps and to my mainnet app that I've created just for this. You can click this view key button. And this is where you get your API key, your RPC URL endpoint, and then if you wanted to do WebSockets, we have that as well. So yeah, that's how you would connect and deploy. And you can see here also, we have our most recent requests. We deployed it, we got the transaction receipt, we have no invalid requests so far. Life is good. So that is deploying the smart contract. And then we have the front end website as well. So on the front end side of things, we have a separate repo. And if you want to follow in on the front end side of, fork this repo to make your own front end website, your own minter, your own display, this is the repo. So it's github.com/thatguy-in-tech/hackers-nft-dapp. Okay, I already showed you this. And so in this repo, how are we using Alchemy? So it's very similar, except we're not deploying a smart contract, but this time we're using providers. And actually, I should show you the website. So this is the website. If you go to hackerdao.com, it's live. You can actually visit this. You can connect your MetaMask. And so I'll just do a demo real quick. So let's connect my MetaMask. It'll pop up this window. And yep, this is the account that I want to connect with. And then it'll show you, boom, you have an ENS name, you have your address that's connected. This is the network that you're connected on via MetaMask. We don't have support for Wallet Connect or anything like that, but I can add that later. And then here's like a warning, you should be connected to Mainnet in order to mint and view your hackers. And then there's two tabs, and this is my really janky navigation here, but on the first tab, if you click on Mint, this is the Minter page. And you can see this is the contract on production that we've pointed to that we're currently about to interact with. So if you wanted to verify it for yourself, I should verify this contract. I'll do that later. That's the contract. And then if you wanted to mint, you can click that button. It would issue a request, and then MetaMask will ask you to sign. It's free to mint. You just have to pay gas fees, but I'm not going to do that right now. And then it also shows you how many tokens are remaining available for mint. Then over here on this other tab, we can view the hackers. So right now on this address, I have minted one hacker token, HackerDAO token. And so this is my word list. And so if I minted multiple, it would show multiple. But yeah, this is like a pretty bare bones, obviously, website for what a lot of people may be doing, right? And let me show you how Alchemy helps with all of that. So in our application, we have our app.js. This is kind of the entry point. This is the homepage. And over here, I am using the WAGME library, which is super nice. Shout out to the WAGME library. This is their documentation page. You should look this up. It's like a bunch of React hooks that makes development pretty easy. And so I have this WAGME provider that wraps it, and I'm connecting to the blockchain, not using the default provider, but using an Alchemy provider. And I'm instantiating that just like this. It's like literally 2 lines of code with my API key and with Mainnet. And that allows me when I am, as a user, trying to connect, trying to mint, whatever, I'm using the Alchemy connection to make sure that the process is as smooth as possible. There's no drop transactions. There are no hiccups. So that's the connection there. And then the enhanced API feature is the NFT API. So over here, we have under the source utils files library or repo, we have this file called Alchemy NFT API, and this is where I've implemented a utility function called get NFTs. And this actually hits the enhanced API endpoint get NFTs right here. So I pass in my API key, I get NFTs, and then this is the contract address in production that I want to filter on. And then over here, I return a bunch of data. So I want to return the name of the NFT token, the image URL, and then the token ID. And then over here in the NFTs.jsx routes, you can open that up. I'm actually calling the get NFTs function. See that? And then I'm passing in the address that is connected to the website. This is another WAGME function. So after I've connected, this is the address that's passed into the call. And then once I get a response using this useEffect hook, I actually load it on the page. And that's how we see this information right here, Be My Hackers. So that's pretty cool, right? Like all this stuff, Alchemy can help you build. And so a couple other things, sorry, brain fart. A couple other things I want to show you here. So before we wrap up, there are a bunch of other enhanced APIs. I just showed you a couple. And we have Notify. Let's go through Notify real quick. So on Notify, this is basically the webhooks where we're pushing information to you. So we have address activity, drop transaction notifications, mine transaction notifications, and gas price for when you want to, get notified for when gas price drops below a certain point to like do something. And then what's cool is like, we can push information to you. So I'm tracking the Crypto Coven NFT project, and I'm using this for Crypto Coven SalesBot app, which is pretty nice. And then for enhanced APIs, I just showed you one endpoint on the NFT API, but we have all of these other endpoints for trace, debug, token metadata, transfers, token balance, whether you're building a wallet application, an exchange, whatever it is, we're going to build NFT APIs, or we're going to build APIs for you. And then finally, we have Alchemy Amplify. And I touched on this a little bit earlier, but this is, our way to help you market your project once you're ready to go. And so, there are a lot of projects that are already part of the Alchemy Amplify partnership. And one thing that you can do, let's zoom out there, is join the Certified Infrastructure Alliance. This is a badge you can add to your website to add legitimacy to your website, because basically this says you are using Alchemy infrastructure, and Alchemy infrastructure is the best in the industry. We have a supercharged newsletter that has tens of thousands of readers every single week, so we can feature your project when it comes out. And then, of course, we can hype you up on all of our social accounts that already has a huge following. And some examples of logos or companies that already use the Certified Infrastructure Alliance and have been benefited from Amplify. Diversify is a decentralized exchange. You can see, boom, they have their badge down here. We have the Full Send Meta card. This was an NFT project that had minted out, or like sold out in like a minute or two, $20 million plus, I think, on just the mint. And we helped to make sure that their mint process was super smooth, no hiccups. Everybody who submitted a transaction was able to get it through, and they weren't blocked on the node provider aspect. So they have a badge. Rarible is another one too. So awesome. And then the other thing about scaling is once you've built out your entire, you've gone through this workflow of building your project, and you are, getting some users, you want to make sure that all the transactions going on your website are smooth. We have actually this growth tier. So we go into settings here, billing. You can turn yourself onto growth tier. And what this does is it gives you more requests. It gives you higher rate limits. It gives you more applications. And then also if you submit, payment information, then you can turn on auto scale. So with auto scale, if you were to go above this request limit and you needed more support, basically we can do that automatically for you. So interruption, there would be no service interruptions. And then if you need anything beyond this, you need custom rate limits, you need unlimited applications, or you want like custom 24/7 support and a bunch of other things, you can contact us for an enterprise plan. So that's, we take our customer support really seriously, because that is one of the ways that we can make sure that this entire industry evolves in a positive way. So yeah, hopefully that was super useful for everybody out here. If you want to get a free NFT from this website, so if you don't want to mint one for yourself, but you want to get a free HackerDAO NFT, what I want you to do is screenshot your favorite feature or moment from this presentation and then tweet at me. So I'm at that guy in tech, and also include Alchemy platform in your tweet. And then tell me in that tweet what was the most useful. And this is a great way for me to get feedback too on what's standing out to people. And if you have any questions about Alchemy or any things that you want me to make a further tutorial on, I'm happy to do that. Just include that in your tweet. The first 5 people to include that, to issue that tweet, to publish a tweet, I will airdrop an NFT too. So yeah, hopefully that was useful. Happy hacking. Hope you all are building great things out there. And we're excited to keep supporting all the developers in the space. My name is Albert. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you later. Bye.